Venus in Cancer. Venus in Cancer is the signature of the artist. It is magic, pure, essential, mundane magic. Venus in Cancer causes you, it brings out the artist in you. It brings the inner feelings of Venus, which I mentioned are internal, are externalized in Cancer. It is definitely the essence of the feminine mystique. Well, you have Venus in, excuse me, in Cancer. With Venus in Cancer, you love romantic music, sentimental music, sad music, opposed to Venus in Leo, where it's the opposite. Venus in Cancer makes you contemplative. It makes you moody. You can be a femme fatale with Venus in Cancer. The family becomes the sole purpose for you to live. You live for your family. There is a admiration and almost a fixation with mother, your mother, and you become her over time. And the way you raise your daughters will be very much similar to how you were raised by your own mother. And that includes the good aspects of raising, child rearing, as well as the bad things with Venus in Cancer, which is not usually that bad. Okay? The emotions, like I said, become externalized and reaches a certain level of complexity. No, there tends to be a sense of neediness also with Venus in Cancer. There tends to be a preference for emotional codependency. There also tends to be a tendency to develop an outlook, a perspective, not based on facts or based on the tried and true, but based fully on how one feels. Even though it might not be real, the emotions are so important and take such precedence that whatever is logical, which can be an actual fact, might actually be dismissed over for the emotional feeling of a situation rather than looking at the facts of a situation. With Venus in Cancer, there tends to be a feeling of total inner insulated feelings. The feelings become the mode of operandi. It will become the sole purpose for the person with Venus in Cancer to live. It's almost like a being in a walking, talking, breathing barometer. And wherever you're at is and whatever feelings and vibrations are within the environment that you happen to find yourself in. If those energies and vibrations, whatever they may be, happen to affect you, and they most strongly will with Venus in Cancer, then it becomes a question of how will these factors within the environment that you find yourself in affect you. Okay? Venus in Cancer is also like and it's like a sponge. If you take a sponge, a sponge like what that you bathe with, you buy a sponge and you throw it in water, the sponge will absorb the water. But if you take that same sponge, right, and you throw it in dirty water, it's going to absorb the dirty water. If you take that sponge and you throw it in clean water, it will absorb the clean water. If you throw it in milk, juice, whatever, it will absorb it. And we know that juice and milk and water and clean water and dirty water all represent different states of vibration or energy. We know clear water is good energy, dirty water is bad energy. Milk and juice, there's nothing wrong or bad or good. It's just relative. Some people are lactose intolerant and they cannot absorb milk. And some people, orange juice might be too strong on the stomach to drink early in the morning. Some people have to put water in the orange juice so that they can be able to drink it. Because orange juice in the morning can be a little bit tough. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that, you know, the Venus in Cancer person can find himself or herself in different kinds of emotional states. And they might not even understand. They might not even understand why they might feel a certain way. Why they might respond emotionally a certain way for no reason. You know what I mean? So we have a situation here where now we're dealing with a person who has, how can I put it? The person may have a talent or a gift of being emotionally sensitive, maybe too sensitive. The person can be an empath too. People who are empaths have Venus in Cancer and have very strong emotional and psychosocial, psychological responses to their environment. It's very, very important that the person born with Venus in Cancer has a stable environment around them, because any ripple, like a pebble in the pond, it causes a ripple effect. Anything can disrupt and disturb the inner, finer, sensitive, and refined feelings of those born with Venus in Cancer. hmm Understand also that to have Venus in Cancer, you have to let me rephrase it. When we're dealing with interpersonal relationships, because Venus does deal with relationships. Venus and Mars are the love planets. So even though what I'm talking about may not necessarily, per se, have to do with love, they do have to do with how you are going to respond sexually to a partner. And with Venus in Cancer, the courtship, if you are a Venus in Cancer, a woman, in order for you as a man, and that this is for you gentlemen and a few ladies, if you want to get this woman with Venus in Cancer, you have to court her, seduce her, and you have to do it as soon as you get up in the morning. A case scenario: you are in bed with her. No, this could be a girlfriend, long-time girlfriend, or wife. And you get up, or she gets up. Most likely, she'll get up. And if you both are working, you both will get up together. You reach out and you tell her, "Good morning, my love." And you give her a kiss on the lips. You go do your bath, take your shower, she does her thing. Now you're dressed, on your way to work. You squeeze her tushy a little bit, you know? Let her know that she's attractive, whether she looks good, whether she looks bad, whether she just woke up, or whether she's dashing. The little things mean a lot with the women born with Venus in Cancer. The little things become a liability to your happiness should you falter. And for this woman, the devil is in the details. Remember, the opposite polarity of Cancer is the devil, Capricorn. So understand that the emotional body will reign supreme. Now, the person with Venus in Cancer can be logical and pragmatic and downright linear, but that will be more towards the external and to those that are strangers and family members that are parts of the extended family. But when it comes to um, personal, more interpersonal feelings between the intimacy level of one partner to another, we're no longer talking about agape love, but now we're talking about philia love, romantic sexual love. That same scenario of the man and the woman being together and they're getting dressed and now they're having breakfast. The way you look at her as you eat, you'd rather be eating her than the breakfast that you're eating. You know, and she'll look at you and wink because she already knows that you eating that cornbread is not really in his mind the bread that he's eating. That's my drift. Seduction has to begin early with the Venus in Cancer woman. Remember, this woman is very, very domesticated or very domesticatedly oriented. To make this woman sexually become alive or come alive, you have to appeal to the basics with this woman. And the basics are being in a relationship that's stable, in a relationship that is committed, with respect to certain traditional values. Oh, please, the Venus in Cancer person is not going to admit that. But that really is what it is. You know, she prefers the most basic of requirements, kind of like Capricorn, the Capricorn woman. It's the opposite polarity. And if this is not provided, it doesn't matter what kind of vibrato and what kind of showmanship or anything else that you may provide for her. If these basic tenets are not met, or she doesn't feel that you can provide it, you will not gain or win the affections of the woman born with Venus in Cancer. Yes, it does help if you get along with her mother, because there is a fixation complex with Venus in Cancer. Just like there's an anger dynamic with Mars in Cancer and its fall. Mars is in its fall in Cancer and it's exalted in Capricorn. So these are the love planets. So, well, however they function, Venus and Mars in the outside the bedroom is only an extension of what will be happening inside the bedroom or what should be happening inside the bedroom. And with Venus in Cancer, touching her breast, her nipples, or kissing or rubbing or licking her nipples, it's important. It's sexual, it's sensual, and it's sensually stimulating. Okay? The, for this woman to achieve orgasm, you have to find the whole breast. The breast and nipples belong to Cancer. So, and there is a psychological correlation between the nipples and the breasts and the feeling of psychological and emotional security. When a baby sucks his thumb, he's looking for that breast and those nipples of that breast. It's a sense of security. When kids rock, uh, no, just rocking on themselves. These are protective, defensive, um, psychological reminders of the safety and security that occurred in the womb. And once that water breaks and that baby comes out, it no longer feels secure and safe. And therefore now, in order to cultivate feelings of safety and protectiveness, it has to now develop a relationship with its environment, primarily the mother. Okay? So the Venus in Cancer woman and man may have received either too much affection or not enough affection, which either way can become pathological. Here, the psychological upbringing of the woman or the man plays a role. If Venus in Cancer is under heavy squares or afflictions in the birth chart, that there's going to be intimacy issues with this woman or with the man born with with Venus in Cancer. I am getting a call, and this person is relentless, and I will not answer until I finish what I'm doing. So, Venus in Cancer absolutely is where we see the beginning of an unfolding complexity that both emotionally and spiritually can develop a sexual profile of that woman or that man. And it can go either way with this person, depending on the upbringing and what this person has experienced emotionally through his or her mother and through the environment. Okay? In order for this woman with Venus in Cancer, or man with Venus in Cancer, to feel loved, to fall in love, to be secure, emotionally in love, they have to have a partner that is committed, but rather predictable, you know? And it may sound a little boring, but she prefers someone who's very simple. For example, you see how I am, right? I'm very out there. A woman with a Venus in Cancer will not invest her love and her feelings emotionally for a man like me because I'm too unpredictable, too much of a wild card. And I may be a wealthy man, a handsome man, everything that a woman may want. But if she can detect that I don't respect traditional values and commitment and longevity, then regardless of what kind of a man and how the greatness of who I could be, she will never go for a man like me. Because she wants someone that's out of the radar or under the radar and unassuming, almost like a plain John or plain Jane. Because that she can trust on. And this is something that she's not going to admit openly. She's not going to admit that openly. But those are those are the inner reserves and inner prejudices of the Venus in Cancer person. These women and the men are very sensitive. Very, very, very sensitive when it comes to love. Even if the sun sign is in a more jovial sign, like Leo, you know, or Aries, they they're not going to how can I put it? They could be exciting people, but when it comes to love and romance, they can switch it on you and you won't even see it coming. They become this wallflower or the sparrow, and all of a sudden you see a weakness and a vulnerability that you didn't detect before in the person. Because as we move further or into the inner onion, into the inner circle of the layer, again, personality and ego reaches a certain height of complexity. This complexity begins in Cancer, Venus and Mars in Cancer, and reaches the height of complexity when it reaches Scorpio. And then it morphs again when it enters Sagittarius. And it gets even more complex when it reaches these other signs. Because the psychological and emotional orientation doesn't, that is not rooted in what you need or what the partner needs or what even the relationship as a unit needs. But it becomes now a feeling of dissolution and separation. This occurs when Venus is in Sag and Mars is in Sag. And it is, I have to admit, I have Mars in Sagittarius. And it is extremely complex. Here, the ego and the personality can have paradoxical behaviors, quixotic behaviors. They say one thing but do another. Now, even they may not even understand that within themselves, Venus in Cancer person. They might not know exactly how to articulate their feelings and their emotions about how they feel about particular matter. Also, the person with Venus in Cancer has a certain level of what we call psychometry. Wherever they go, wherever they go, wherever environment they go, there will be different people in those different environments because the energy vibration in these places will dictate how these people will feel internally. So if you have a, for example, a couple that moves into a new house, into a new neighborhood, everybody loves the house. Oh, I love the house, honey. It's beautiful. The kids, oh wow, I love the house. I love the house. It's so big. It's so beautiful. Well, the 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom for you, 1 bedroom for you, and 1 bedroom for me and your mother. And everybody's happy, even the dog. And you look at the wife and she's like, "There's something I don't like about this house." Oh, honey, what are you talking about? The house is beautiful. Don't you love it? And she looks at the environment. She looks around. Then they all come in and they're all running in awe. We're going to a new house. You're excited. You're psyched now. But the woman is, she feels something. She senses something. She may not know what it is, but she's feeling a vibration in that house or in that environment that for the rest of her life or time that she's now going to spend in this house with the family will dictate how this movie will proceed. Not only as a person, as a mother, as a wife, as a woman, but as a new neighbor to the environment that she just moved in. She will be a totally different person, and it could be for the better or for the worse. She is an open, walking, talking, breathing psychic barometer, and she will sense and feel things that other people will not sense and feel. She's a remarkable psychic woman. People don't realize that Cancer, as a water sign, is extremely psychic, extremely intuitive, and emotionally perceptive. What others don't pick up, she will pick up. And she, as the feminine mystique that she is, will always be right. And we're done with part one.